Hello, folks, and welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We've got a couple more people to talk to in camp here, but then we should be able to go. Hawkblade. Commander. Tall man with piercing yellow-green eyes gives you a brief nod. Let me personally congratulate you on your new title, and thank you for your time in advance. I'm Letter Hawkblade, an Inquisitor of the Church of Amode, and the Bringer of Light. I require your assistance in a certain delicate matter involving one of your companions, the young Count Darren Arande. Alright, you're one of Prelate Haroon's guys, aren't you? His face freezes for a moment, but he nods. Yes, of course. Alright, what's your opinion on his atrocities? Clifford is silent for a while. Usually people reveal such things about themselves only to their confessor, not to some curious stranger. Still, I did ask for your help, and that imposes certain obligations upon me. Let me put it like this. I spent enough years by Prelate Haroon's side to learn how to keep him from going over the line. The prelate is an extraordinary man, but he's fallen prey to his own paranoia and monumental sense of responsibility, which has gradually eroded his razor-sharp mind. He has witnessed so much hideous darkness that now he sees it in every shadow. Yet his strength was, and still is, a shield for all the people of Bendev. That's my opinion. His comrades and advisors is necessary to prevent him from making unforgivable mistakes. Alright, and where were you during the attack on Canabras? I was on the hunt. A very successful one, but, as often happens in life, this minor success was a mere harbinger of larger failure. If I hadn't been so far away from Canabras on the day of the attack, I might have been able to help my comrades and prevent a number of deaths. Alright, well, thank you for your straightforwardness. Not an easy topic for me. For not just okay, yeah, we won't talk about it again. So, what brings you here? I ask you to assist the Church of Amode in an investigation of the utmost importance. I understand the leader of the Crusade has plenty of other matters to attend to, but please allow me to tell you the details. Perhaps it will explain why I'm calling upon you. The Inquisitor's open face instantly reveals his feelings. He frowns and looks through you, lost in his thoughts for a moment. I suppose you've already heard about Count Arande's story? I've heard the tragedy at Heaven's Edge Estate. Alright, you're going to investigate this old case again, aren't you? Yes, I am. I have several reasons to doubt the widely shared account of what exactly happened to the estate and how it happened. You see, Commander, I was among those sent to examine the estate after the incident. I saw everything with my own eyes, and I still remember it clearly, even though it feels like it happened a lifetime ago. Heaven's Edge was a unique place that still carried the spirit of old Mendev before the world wound. And yet, on that day, it turned into a labyrinthine house of horrors, like something only seen in nightmares. Apologies for the digression. I want to tell you about my suspicions. Everything about the incident seemed odd. Why was the only person left alive a young boy with a newfound talent for divine magic? Why did nobody send to Canabras for help, even though the agony spanned many hours? We found the demons dead with their heads cut off when we got to the estate. How were they defeated? How did the disease kill even the paladins present at the estate, who were said to be immune to any disease? If the demons had found their way to penetrate the Holy War's defenses, why has this never been repeated since the tragedy at Heaven's Edge? You are the only person who can help me here, Commander, because the only living witness of those events is currently serving in your army. Your army's route will take you near the very site of the tragedy. Heaven's Edge has been abandoned and sealed with totem magic throughout all these years, and only the Count has the power to break that seal. He's unlikely to invite an Inquisitor inside, and in any case, he won't like me sniffing around his family seat. But if you, as his commander, express your wish to visit the estate, he'll be obliged to fulfill it, and I will simply follow you as one of your attendants. There are 100 ways, 1,000 paths, and a myriad loopholes in humans' lives that the forces of evil can use to their advantage. I'm not sure which one of those led the demons to the gates of Heaven's Edge, but I do know it wasn't a simple raid, the kind of Crusaders face every day. That incident involved a significantly more powerful entity, and that's why I'm asking for your help. We cannot be sure that such a tragedy will not happen again until we uncover the truth. You've already been in the estate several times before it was taken over. What do you expect to find now? I was young and inexperienced Inquisitor when I first visited Heaven's Edge 10 years ago. My skills have improved significantly since then, and I paid dearly for that. Victor makes a vague gesture, pointing at his scars. My arsenal includes many spells and techniques dedicated to gathering information about people and events. Almost all of them require me to be physically present in the place where the event in question happened. That's why I must return to Heaven's Edge. Okay, we know why he can't go himself, because it's warded by magic. Did you question Darren? I did, but the Count insisted he couldn't remember everything about the incident due to severe shock. He saw the demons at the very beginning when they appeared at the celebration to announce the onset of the plague and mock their victims. He also witnessed the death of his mother, Countess Selenia. That was all he could tell me. We had found the young Count sleeping like a log on the floor in one of the rear chambers, having drunk about half the family wine cellar by himself. There is no reason to disbelieve him in that matter. Alright, so you suspect he's hiding something. He's to blame somehow? I deliberately refuse to entertain any theories or suspicions so that it doesn't affect the investigation. There's a saying among my colleagues that suspicion is the mother of prejudice, and prejudice is married to failure. I can only tell you that Count Arande wasn't suffering from demonic possession, the most common malaise in their country at the time. Prelate Helrun himself examined the boy right after the tragedy, and he didn't sense anything awry with him. Alright, what do you need me to do? Thank you, Commander. Now I ask you to speak to the Count, tell me wish to see Heaven's Edge. Please do not inform him of my presence right away. I will join your escort when it's time to travel the estate. When we get there, I will also require your help during the investigation. You will have to follow me, observing my actions as an independent witness. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. Alright. Alright, so we need to go to Darren and make sure he knows. Any other place we need to go? Terrorblade's tent, which I guess we could do. Grab this stuff really fast. Glitter dust probably isn't a bad idea. Regular little short bow. Can't even spring for the +1 for the men, huh? Alright. Who's Terrorblade exactly? Well, nobody here anyway. We can loot that, but only if you want... I mean, it's a good half plate, but... it's not really mine. Take the money. Take this stuff, just to sell it. Our Earthbreaker's actually there. Doesn't seem to have any special powers, though, strangely enough. How about the book? Adventures of a Fearless Crusader, Briggy the Sausage Maker. Alright, we'll take that with us. You never know, we might be able to sell it to somebody. What I've not seen, though, is the Quartermaster around. Maybe in Nora's tent? No, I mean, there's loot around, but nothing really out of the ordinary. Yeah, okay, just take everything. Oh, Nora himself. There you go. Knight Commander, how can I help? There's so much I can do. Just ask. Alright. You probably heard about the wound I have, the one that sometimes opens on my chest. Can you perhaps tell me if it's some kind of demonic curse? Yes, indeed, I've been told of your affliction. Nora appears at the center of your chest. Can you will the wound to open? No? That's a shame. Alright, what can you tell me about it? Well, it's difficult to say. I know blades that leave never healing cuts, of poisons that stop wounds from healing. I've heard of witches' curses are rewarded with eternal wounds. But wounds that seem to reopen and heal over and over? Huh. Any other cases like this? Let me think. In 4671, a Mendivan army corporal had all his bones and cartilage turned to glass. In 4700, a scribe in Canaveras had all her skin simply come away like she'd been boiled. And in 4638, oh, you don't happen to have insects crawling over you. Locusts? No? Rats, perhaps? Too bad. Nora looks at you with genuine regret. I do think it's dangerous? Smells likely is dangerous, but due to the production of Imode, Commander. She granted you mythic power, as they say. Surely the Inheritor would not leave you to face this alone. Have you perhaps noticed that the wound opens at moments when you waver in your faith? Perhaps it's triggered by doubt. Alright, so that was hopeless. Okay, be sure to stay this man. I can still a few of my stuff. Okay, great. You can tell me about yourself? Okay, where are you from? Isgir, a small piece of land that proudly calls itself a country, though it hasn't been independent for a single day in all the centuries it existed. They have a lot of national pride, but all of it is borrowed. Always looking to the great day when they can be at last free from the rule of Cheliax. Infernal Cheliax means one of the most powerful military nations. Okay, so, like she said, it's borrowed patriotism. Okay. These Gary love talking politics. If two of them start bargaining over beats at the market, you can be sure that they'll end up arguing about whether an independent Esgir will be a monarchy or a republic. I always found it funny to listen to. And a little disgusting. You see, there's a lot of halflings in the country, but very few are citizens. Most are slaves. I was lucky. I've always been clever ever since I was little, so they sent me to school instead of making me do the grunt work. They taught me how to recount and write, and I was sold as a secretary to Lord Axelar Tresbot. He's the one I left Isgir with. Never to return, I hope. So how do you come and serve the queen? I was a slave of Lord Axelar Tresbot in Isgir, my homeland. Oh, what a man he was. He towered over his fellows like a rock over a garbage heap. A true hero. He bought me as a simple secretary, but he made me learn the history of the world wound. All of it, one volume after another. He hired tutors for me, even sent me to a prominent historian. He didn't want a simple slave, but a slave with an impeccable education. Lord Tresbot was going on a crusade. He firmly believed that the servants of the good gods were weak, and only a follower of Asmodeus could stand against the demon invasion. He took me along as a secretary, a historian, and, most importantly, he entrusted me with recording his glorious story for future generations. In his crusade, Lord Tresbot performed many brave feats, but even he could not stand against the Whirlwind alone. In his final battle with the demons, when my lord realized he was doomed, his final act was to cover my retreat, so that I could tell the world of his great deeds. Some people have said that what he did was not heroic, just an arrogant moron puffing himself one last time, but I say curse their tongues. My difficult journey ended in Mendem, where I found my freedom. There I published Lord Tresbot's biography, and I don't want to boast, but who am I kidding? Of course I do. The book sold in great numbers, and made me rather famous for a time. That's what brought me to the Queen's attention. She invited me to her court. After all, she was curious about my deceased lord, and she was in great need of an expert in the history of the Whirlwind. Hope you find me useful as well. Okay, so you're basically a bard? Will you write a book about my crusade? Yeah, why not? As soon as I finish off the demons, I'll get right to it. Just take care you don't end up like Lord Tresbot. Right, do you worship any deity? She makes a wry face. When I was a slave in Isgard, they would beat me with a stick to force me into believing in Asmodeus. They hit me and said it was for my own good. Ever since then, I don't like temples. I realize there are different gods like Desna or Caden who teach goodness and freedom, but it's just, as soon as I smell frankincense, I see the slave driver stick. Maybe one day I'll be able to turn to a deity without cringing from a blow or for not being reverent enough. But for now, for others, I let other priests play for me. Nora sounds sincere, but you feel that she's holding something back. Okay, but unfortunately I can't press her, so maybe later. Anything about the Whirlwind I should know? How did it come to be? 4606, a little over a century ago. No one knows if the timing was coincidental or if there's some connection with Aaron's death. But I'll tell you what we do know. The priests and shamans who ruled Secorsis hated arcane magic and all practiced it. Wizards and sorcerers were driven from the land, or worse. One of their prisons held a witch named Arliu Vorlish. We know nothing about her besides her name and, of course, the atrocity she committed. By some unknown method, she managed to harness the terrible power of the demon lord Discara. Together, they tore open the barrier between worlds, opening a rift to the abyss in the very middle of Sarcosis. The world wound slowly but mercilessly expanded, devouring more and more of the land. In a matter of years, Sarcosis was memory. Sometimes I think, what did they do to Arlu in that prison? Just imagine she was ready to give herself to the abyss if only the demons might devour her tortures along with her. Imagine such hatred, it terrifies me. And there were a lot of crusades. What about old Sarcosis? We have to go there eventually. It was an unforgiving country, inhabited by numerous tribes of Keleid barbarians. Imagine Numeria, but without the Metal Mountains, or the realm of the Mammoth Lords, but with a mild climate. That's Sarcosis. The country was ruled by priests of forgotten deities and shamans. It said that even back then, before the Whirlwind, the boundary between worlds was especially thin in this region. Since ancient times, Discara has had his claws sunk deep in the minds of the locals. His cults thrived there for many centuries. Eredin tried to stamp them out, but in the end, of course, he passed away. So the First Crusade began in 4622. It took the church and secular authorities nearly 2 decades and hundreds of thousands of lives before they decided to take action. In the meantime, Sarcosis was only supported by handfuls of volunteers. By the time the crusade began, the demons had already invaded Mendem. The Crusaders pushed them back in what must have seemed like total triumph at the time. The forces of good easily crushed the demons on all fronts. They erected Dresden on the lands they conquered, an indestructible fortress, and the capital of that Crusader moment. In 4630, 8 years after it began, the First Crusade was declared victorious. It was the first triumph of the Crusaders, and unfortunately the last. So in the Second Crusade, in 4638, the Whirlwind suddenly started expanding, and a new wave of demons appeared. The Crusaders were all but delighted. Last time they routed the forces of the Abyss, and they welcomed another chance to prove themselves. But this time, everything was different. Instead of scattered gangs, they faced a large and organized army. Dresden was besieged, and the Crusaders lost all the land they'd won back before. They had to retreat, and all that remained Sarcosis was left to the demons. While the monsters were devouring the unprotected lands, the Crusaders erected a chain of war zones along the border with the Whirlwind. We have Imode and her herald to thank for that help. It was the Second Crusade's only victory, but it halted the wound's growth. The catastrophe had become a stalemate, at the cost of a tremendous sacrifice. So in the Third Crusade, about 50 years after the opening of the Whirlwind, Discara found an ally. Baphomet entered the war, a cunning, insidious demon lord who prefers deception to open conquest. He sets his enemies against each other and lures the virtuous onto the path of the wickedness. Traitors appeared among the Crusaders, secret agents of his cult. For a time, no one suspected a thing, even as they watched helplessly as the Crusader movement fell to ruin. Where once valor proudly stood, now greed and dumb cruelty reigned, and the avarice was drowned in apathy. In 4665, the Church announced a new crusade, hoping to boost morale. They didn't succeed, to put it mildly. Some fought the demons in earnest, and for a time they even dared to hope to retake Dresden. But the Third Crusade would be remembered as a witch hunt in every sense. Inquisitors hoped to purge any cultists from the ranks of fighters, but instead they got a barrage of Neations, widespread suspicion, and innocent victims. It sometimes happened that two orders would denounce each other as traitors and wipe each other out, much to the demon's delight. Just 3 years later, in 4668, the church put the disgrace to an end. Of all the crusades, that one was the least glorious. So the Fourth Crusade is the one that I'm assuming just ended. Of course, the demons had no intention of sitting quietly caged behind the wardstones. They kept attacking Cadabras, trying to reach the stone and destroy it, or just scratch its surface, or if that wasn't possible, befoul it. The Crusaders drove the demons away from the city again and again. The Fourth Crusade would last for 15 years, an exhausting study in positional warfare. The demons attacked, they were pushed back. Crusaders won the offensive, but forced a retreat. And all the while, the losses were tremendous. The Fourth Crusade's only achievement was that they didn't let a single wardstone fall. They didn't retake a sliver of land, to say nothing of Dresden. So many lives just to maintain the stalemate. You can imagine how that affected morale. And then here we are today. Okay, well I have to go, so thanks for that. So chances are she's not actually coming with us. She's probably just going to act as the documentarian. It's hard to tell if she hasn't even any heroic levels in like Bard or anything. I would hope so, but maybe not. Helor, my dude. I'm going to place the Dark Ninja back. There are assassins about. Okay. Do you know anything about a Pathfinder named Finian Dismar? Heard the name before. Of course you have on Pathfinder 2, so you're the chief in these lands now? What about Lady Ari? When I left for the wound, she had just taken up the position. Hillary examines the talking weapon and chuckles sadly. I'm afraid Ari perished during the Third Crusade. Now I remember. Finian Dismar went missing in the wound at the end of the Second Crusade. His name has been on the list of the fallen for a while. Here I am, alive and well, writing your list that I'm back, and soon I'll file a detailed report of everything that happened to me. I knew it was a misunderstanding. Now everything will return to normal. I need to write to my folks, they probably think I'm dead too. Healer shakes his head sadly. Poor lad. But such is the fate of a Pathfinder. We face the unknown, but sometimes the unknown wins, and our mind cannot take it. Alright, do you, save anybody from the Spinner of Nightmares? Been hunting the Spinner of Nightmares for over a year. My agents, by the time I'd created a proper network, reported to me that she returned in Erosia. I immediately suspected that she was planning a great atrocity. By that time I learned all too well the Spinner was a master of illusions and charms. That's why I never left the house without this. Thor takes a monocle from his pocket and puts it on carefully. This is the Eye of Truth. It allows me to see through illusions. My friend got it from the priests of Nethys. However, neither this monocle nor my network of agents were adequate to prevent the attacks, and we were nearly too late. The Spinner of Nightmares decided to strike at the Cruciform Cathedral. They gathered to celebrate the victory of the First Crusade. It was a great holiday, and there was a lavish ceremony at the cathedral. An influential priest, Antholicus, was in charge of the facilities. They were intended to crown him with a tiara, a symbol of his highest status. The sacred tiara had been replaced. The spinner had obtained an Encliptus, a sentient and rather ominous cephalopod from the other end of the world. She'd raised it from an elver and trained it carefully, and she cast an illusion on it so that everyone would see it as a tiara. The moment its shell was placed on Antholicus' head, the cephalopod would release its tentacles and penetrate the priest's skull. Its poison would seep into his brain and would seize control over Antholicus' dead body. Fortunately, we were able to stop this madness in time. I spotted the Spinner of Nightmares in the crowd, chased her down, and we ended up crossing swords on the roof of the cathedral. I nearly defeated her, but she fled upon a giant stallion, which was able to run across the air as if it were the ground. I was so close to catching her. She'd suffer a setback, but I let her escape. Okay, so I need brave and experienced fighters. Holy shit, 18,000 is their standard rate. Alright, I don't have that kind of money yet. Nope, no, that's fine. So what about good training? Yeah, okay. Train your fighters free of charge, so we can retrain ourselves and get monk levels. The only reason to do that right now is basically to get iron fists, or cold iron fists. And then we can worry about dipping into Slayer later. Yeah, let's go and do that now. So for me, please. It's like the third time we're gonna do this for ourselves, but so it goes. Custom, and that's me down here. And we're gonna go ahead and do monk again. And we're gonna make sure that it's scaled fist. And we're gonna make sure we're a half orc still. Also male. There we go. Did we do human race before? one additional skill point per level sounds pretty good. So yeah, let's do that. Travel any good? Nah, it's okay. We're good. And we did, I believe it was Oblate and probably Martial Disciple. Right? That's mobility and lore religion to list of class skills. That does sound right. Wisdom instead of charisma when attempting persuasion checks. That's probably a good idea there, huh? Because wisdom's going to be up pretty high. Although, it doesn't seem to want me to do wisdom here. Wisdom determine, like, how we're supposed to go here? And we can definitely put that up. That to 17? Plus 3 is good, I just need a little bit more. We put the bonus in Dex, that's probably where it should be. Yeah, that'll be fine for now. We'll get a moving up to do that later. Okay, so we get Perception up, Persuasion up, Religion up, and I don't know, Athletics. And let's see, we want to make sure we can dodge. We already get a Scaled Fist bonus feat, so we're not going to worry too much about that. You know, I keep saying we need deflect arrows. That'd probably be a good thing there. Let's do dodge. I think we do get that as a scaled bonus feat. Do like endurance. Bonus to athletics is not really going to help. We did to start with, we did Iron Hide, didn't we? That sounds familiar. Yeah, here's dodge here, so we'll take that. We're going to go ahead. I mean, we could now switch to Ammo Day. A little tempting, actually. We were going off of, yeah, Aurora here. Mainly because favored weapons unarmed strike, and also because he got attained his own divinity. It's down to lawful neutral. We'll probably eventually move up to good, but that's okay. I think this is basically where we were. I think we had like a small beard like that. I think we're bald. Yeah, that looks right. We're a little grayer. There, maybe? Maybe there? I suppose there. That should be good enough. We didn't really have any war paint. Clothes are fine.
We do it my way.
Sure, why not? We'll start with confident. Why not? And yeah, as far as you're concerned, it's the first and first. No, that's the coward there. There you go. Fine.
Their life ends here.
I mean, it does say my dex is 16, which is weird. Oh, we see bonuses in charisma. Scaled Fist has a charisma bonus to his AC. That's why it didn't work. That's why it didn't work. Okay. In which case, we don't want Acolyte here. Maybe I was doing this wrong the whole time. In which case, you want Martial Disciple then. And then for the stats here, we want to drop Wisdom and put it in Charisma. That's why there's a check there. Okay, that makes far more sense. And look at the sheet here. Slightly better armor class. Okay, so Charisma's up. That's good. It's basically everything else is my dump stat, including my strength, unfortunately, but that's okay. Everything else will go to Dex, and that'll just how it works. Hey, Orky. Yes, I'm playing live right now. We're just respecking our orc a little bit because I feel like I missed something. Yeah, fight defensively is fine. Yeah, Stunning Fist is fine. Ironhide's a good start. Intimidating is really not going to help too much. Well, with a good Charisma, actually, it's not a bad idea. Alright, so we'll complete that. And we'll go ahead and do our levels here. So I'm just going to dump everything in Scaled Fist right now. So we're going to just push these up as they are. We do the bonus feat of... Combat reflexes, maybe. Crane style is probably better. Because then we take less penalty for fighting defensively, which is good. And that's it for you. Ongoing. Well, thank you, Yorkie. I appreciate you looking at my YouTube channel. So now we're doing this. And just keep on pushing this up. Boom, boom, boom. And this time we'll do... I mean, I think maybe... We do occasionally get shot at, so deflect arrows is not a bad idea. Gotta remember also, we have somebody with... We have somebody with... We don't have coordinated defense on anybody? I could have sworn we did. Is it not coordinated? Then maybe it's something else. Maybe it's down here. It's not precise strike. They'll tell us exactly who has it. We just need to share it. Okay, they're not sharing it here with us. Interesting. Could have sworn it was coordinated maneuvers, but nobody else has this feat. Nope, it's not allied spellcaster. I wouldn't think it would be. We don't need point blank shot. We can do weapon focused and unarmed strike. Because then I get +1. Let's do that. That's what we did before. So give me the unarmed strike. Thank you. Now the downside to this means I can never use a weapon. If we want Sela to be able to use like anything else, then there's a reason not to take this. Right? Sela could use like a Warhammer or something else, and we could use Finian ourselves. So that's the thought. So we could always swap out for here. Weapon finesse is not going to work for us, so we don't necessarily have to choose weapon focus. We could choose like something else. We don't need armor efficiency though. As a monk, that doesn't make any sense. Let's see, combat mobility. Only works with attack of opportunity things, so that's not that great. Crushing blows, not great. Die Hard, maybe, but not really. We don't want him to have improved initiative. We want Lon to have improved initiative. That's probably what needs to happen. Yeah, the metamatics is not good. Persuasive, we don't care about. Scribes trolls. Well, so Yorkie, the reason why I'm fighting on weapon finesse is because if I decide at some point that I want to wield, like, say, I don't know, an S-stock or a sword or something like that, then I wouldn't necessarily want to be focused in on unarmed weapons. But that might be silly talk. We might be okay to do that. Throw anything just seems silly. Toughness is okay, I guess. You do gain more hit points, so that's not a terrible thought. And then we get into unlikely ones down there. Flurry doesn't work on non-monk weapons. Good point, Gillian. Good point. With that thought, then you're right. Then I should go ahead and do weapon finesse on unarmed. Sorry, not weapon finesse. Weapon focus on unarmed. Because then the flurry will work. Absolutely right. Totally forgot about that. Although we could choose a monk weapon. Like we choose... Sai a monk weapon? I don't think it is it? It's not going to tell me, is it? It's totally not going to tell me. Okay, so like a comma. I know a comma is totally a monk weapon. But Finian can turn into a comma, right? That's the whole thing about Finian, is he's an intelligent weapon that can change his shape. Focus on dex-based light weapons anyhow. Unarmed combat is a light weapon attack. Yeah, and we've been doing pretty well with light weapons. It's just that, you know, I want that... this one here. I want this cold iron and silver. In level 7. Any melee uses strength if you don't pick finesse. Oh, good point. Good point. So we do need finesse. Because our strength is in the toilet right now. So we choose finesse, then unarmed attack works with dexterity instead, and that'll be much, much better. Yes, you're right. Unarmed attack counts as light weapon. We do this first. You're absolutely right. And I think we're doing cold for this or something. That sounds right. And help the weak defeat evil. Yeah, that's what we're doing before. So that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, weapon finesse is absolutely the right thing to do here. For level 4, keep on going with Monk. We'll raise our Charisma up to give us a little bit more defense. Raise everything else up by 1. There you go. Key power Barkskin, I guess. We could do Scorching Ray, but Barkskin might be more useful immediately. That's the only thing we get there. Next level. Raise everything up by 1. And here's where the weapon focus will be good for unarmed. Or anything, actually. Weapon finesse might be just what I need, so we might be able to ignore this for now. Making sure there's nothing else in here we want. I thought we had a teamwork feat, but now I can't find it. Keep all the teamwork feats. We did not have shield wall. There we go. It's totally outflank. Totally outflank. That's what it is. Okay, let's get outflank. And style strike, sure. Spins about confounding his foe. Gains a +4 dodge to AC against any attacks made against the target of the style strike to the start of his turn. Huh. Interesting. Rolls unarmed strike damage twice, plus rolls together applying strike that modifies the damage. Eh. Knocking the opponent down can be good. Does not provoke tap for opportunity, but when he gets up, I think he does. So that'd be good. And Shattering Punch bypasses any damage reduction or hardness possessed by the target of the attack, which is okay, but I think the leg sweep might be pretty good. Kind of like the idea of the defensive spin, but leg sweep might be more useful. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do leg spin. Alright, you're good. Thank you. We have purity of body now. Keep on going. Level 5. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Disarms a thought. It's a cool idea, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Well, and leg sweep with trip. Maybe? Some creatures cannot be tripped. That's true. It's true. Make more fighting. We can do Dragon Ferocity. Features strength bonus and arm strike bonus, but it's not about strength, it's about dexterity, so that doesn't work for me. You can dazzle and frighten enemies. Perform bewildering show of prowess with a full round action. Make a persuasion check to demoralize all foes in 30 feet. We do have a bonus to persuasion and intimidate checks, so that's not a bad idea. Especially since that gets into later good things too. It's a thought. We shouldn't do, they don't want us to do intimidating prowess or dragon style. Which is fair. This is okay, but it's not, the 1.5 times on strength bonus doesn't work for us. 1.5 of 0 is surprisingly still 0. Disarm's really tempting. Important to have weapon finesse as a dex fire to make use of the amulet of agile fist or weapon finesse mythic to add dex bonus instead of strength damage. Yes. Right, Yorkin. Correct. Exactly right. Let's see. Blind fight. Well, we do go up against a lot of invisible attackers. So this way we could actually fight off the invisible. And my understanding is that's probably likely to increase. Now, granted, we'll get, like, glitter dust and various other things to be able to spot them, but that's, you know, later. So, just in case, blind fight's not a bad idea. Yeah, let's do blind fight. It's not fantastic. I'd almost prefer combat reflexes or dragon ferocity, but I think blind fight's a good idea. Disarm's pretty good too. Cannot use his weapons for 1 round. Oh, it doesn't actually drop them on the ground, huh? That's too bad. Because then he would have to spend a turn picking them up, which I'd totally be okay with. But still, one round without his weapon's not bad. Assuming, of course, they actually, have a weapon, which is debatable. Let's go and do blind fight. I think that's what we had before. And I'll have... What do you move pretty fast? True Strike, I guess? And basically means it can't miss. Not affected by mischance if it applies to attacks trying to start... Well, okay, so that goes back to invisibility again, right? So that's not a bad idea. Again, invisible guys might be a thing. 2 points for a Scorching Ray. Which is a thought, but I think we'll go ahead and do True Strike. Okay, then of course the Mythic rank. I believe we had chosen Instrument of Freedom. No, we didn't. We chose Close to Heavens, that's what it was. Because it heals allies, or damages them for the same amount. So it gives us basically a... Well, if you play Overwatch, like a Moira hit, right? You either heal or you damage, depending on who they are. And... Abundant Key is an idea, but I think instead we want from you... No, that's a damage attack. That's range, rather. We don't want that. We want melee for sure. Let's see. Leading Strike. Every time we hit a target melee combat into the mark, an ally attacking the mark deals additional damage. That's not bad. We do occasionally charge. Or we can depend on missing, which does seem weird. Every turn, as long as you make at least one melee attack, you gain additional +2 to damage rolls. Yeah, I think we chose that one. Leading Strike is kind of cool. It's not a lot of damage, but either way, it's not a lot of damage, so I think it's fine. I'm not sure about Restraint, so that is an interesting idea. As with a 50-50, you give bonus equal to half your mythic rank, +1 to initiatives or saving throws and concentration checks. Makes them a little bit better. Okay, that requires a ranged weapon, so not that one. We could make it so we don't miss attack of opportunity that often, but I think let's change it over to Leading Strike. Only one ability can leave a mark at a time. Others with Leading Strike ability do not do additional damage. That's fine. It does consume the mark immediately, so it doesn't stack. It's not like, Sela attacks and then Wolfric attack and they both can do damage. It's whoever attacks first. But that's fine. Why would you want to damage an ally? That just seems so weird. Now, I like all these. I mean, the battle imitation's cool, but it requires us basically to stand out of combat for a while, and that just doesn't sound like a good idea. Teleporting to spellcasters would be kind of funny. But no, I'm leaning towards Leading Strike right now, just for the little bit of extra damage. We could do Unrelenting Assault. That requires me to keep hitting. The Leading Strike lets other people hit, and that's probably fine. Yeah, let's let other people hit. That's fine. So which myth is packed? Yeah, I think we decided on an Angel. I think that was the only one we actually could choose, was Angel, and nothing else. Alright, so we got everything lined up here. I'm tempted to get Camilla into Oracle ranks, but we don't actually technically need that, because now we have Darren. The only reason I was thinking of getting her into Oracle was purely because Darren was leaving, but now he can't leave, so we're stuck, basically. Or we don't really stuck. We don't need it. So I think it's fine. Let's go ahead and leave and see what happens. Oh, shit. Okay. It loaded but didn't load. I don't know what's up with that. That seems strange. Also, apparently we leveled up here, so I think this group is fine. Tempted to bring Nino along, especially if we're going to go to the ruins. I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to trade you out with Darren here, aren't I? kind of hate to do it. I could trade Ember. There's one where you can still open the rank 3 choice at the point if you decide to. Don't want to spoil it. Yeah, I think I locked myself out of all the other ones. The trouble is I'm playing as a lawful good monk, and that really narrows down the possibilities. So yeah, I know there's supposed to be more paths you can take, but yeah, I've definitely locked myself in here. Ember's better than Camilla, sorry to say. I do like Wooljiff a little bit more than anybody else. Really, and Sela I'd like to keep. Lon has been a fucking powerhouse, so I'm not moving him. No, I think this is fine. We'll just have to go without some of the extra healing. I'm going to go for the last we can get since it's past here. Since it's neutral evil. Okay. Yeah, that's my problem with him, right? Is that he's evil. Well, I think he's chaotic. I don't think he's actually, like, straight up evil, but he's chaotic something. So, this should be fine. Let's just accept and move on. Sosa will have to pull in eventually, but I'm not going to worry about it yet. We'll probably... It seems like he's probably going to be a replacement for Sela, if anybody. Okay, so this is our first look out in the world. Right. With him, with Sosa in there, we want to make sure to do that. Okay, yes, hello. Control armies in the global map. And members different in strength. Okay. Between party management and army command modes by clicking the banner at the top of the screen. Army command mode, you select the armies by either using the panel on the left or clicking the fingers of the map. Much like your party, armies use road move around the map. To move, an army must spend movement points to be restored for the rest of the day. Okay, so army time, I guess. So that's my stats. Here. Oh, that's my mini-map. Okay. I could recruit a new army, theoretically. Or, of course, camp for the day. Let's switch over to red here. So we have one little army of pitiful 100 people, but sure. Or 40. No, that's 40 movement, isn't it? That's totally what it is. 100 strength, maybe? 100 something. 39 hit points. So not a whole lot. So we could send them against the demon army, I guess. What could possibly go wrong? But if I do that, I probably need to shore them up with support. Going along the road and find the demon army, I think, is your first good action here. 100 that unit in the stack. Yeah, that's what I figured with the 100 there. That makes sense. Alright, so let's move you. You probably don't want to go for any quest marks. You probably need to just go over here. You've got 20 people there. Okay, well, it seems like that should totally work. 100 versus 20, that's really good odds for us. Depending on, of course, what level those guys are. But, okay, so you guys jump around the road, so... Okay, no, you're totally gonna go over here. So, yeah, keep going. They're retreating, pursue them, and fight? Yes, you should absolutely pursue. Oh, interesting. We're actually going into a fight. Here I thought it would just be handled. Like a roll in the back end or something. Oh, okay. We've got an actual... Okay. That's fine. This works. Also, why is there no music? Should I shut off the music somehow? Still about 100. No idea. Maybe there'll be stuff happening when stuff happens over here. So we'll pull you over. And then I guess you go ahead and fight these guys, so... Okay, we lost a guy. We lost another guy. I don't know why there's nothing here. Oh, can I not? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Attack there. Okay, you lost a guy. I lose a guy. Oh, this is unfortunate. Losing guys left and right. Yep, down to 92, but this guy's dead, so that's great. And these 15 guys, go ahead and bash them. Well, it's down left and less than 15. They exploded. Alright, great. So that was... I mean, we lost 11 guys. It's not great. Nobody replenished at the infirmary. That's most unfortunate. Okay, defeat your first enemy army, receive a number of finance points, use them to hire a general. Generals can use various spells and abilities in combat. Generals cannot be killed. If General Armor is defeated, the general can be assigned a new army after 3 days. Okay. Generals attacking defense are added by as a bonus, which is great. That's what we need. Results in victory. And General's Infirmary brings back some lost units. Okay. Oh, Infirmary. Okay. Well, that's what we wanted, so... Okay. Having defeated the band of cultists who had driven the captives from Gondabras and made the ruins of Val's gift their temporary base, the commander's army celebrates its first triumph. Unfortunately, demon worshippers have killed all the citizens and gathered belongings in a huge pile in the middle of the camp. Well, that sucks. Okay, so maybe don't go for anybody else just yet, because maybe we're broken or something. So... why don't you go ahead and head back? Oh, you can't actually go back that far. Okay, no movement points left. Then I guess you just wait. Yeah, okay, so then we skip the day. Or we move on ourselves, I guess. So that requires Sela, so I'm going to go ahead and... path location is unknown? No, we go right there. And of course we fight somebody on the road. Okay. You want to hire a general to lead your army. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so magical anomalies are common in the world of Galarian. So commonly, the use of the anomaly itself is questionable. Every other city dweller will encounter a chaotic manifestation of supernatural power at least once in a lifetime. One might naturally assume the strange sky, the ghostly fire that rifts in the ground, the rain of eyeballs, all that the whirlwind is known for, should find some purchase in the mortal mind. But even the most worldly of travelers feels uneasy at its borders. Why? Perhaps instinctively they understand this place is not merely a magical wasteland, but a wound, an ulcer, through which the world itself bleeds into the abyss. The commander and his army walk up the high bank of the West Selland River, where it draws near the border of the whirlwind. The soldiers' feet halt unbidden. On the other bank rises a series of cliffs, too regular in shape to have been formed by wind or water. The sky hangs over their sharp edges and sickening bends, the shade of mercury on the horizon rising to dirty rust. As it arches above the soldier's head, it regains its familiar Zurahu. The soldiers whisper and grumble. The commander feels eyes up on his back. Some are among them wearing simple armor and unrecognized by anyone. The ruler of Mendev is standing and watching the new commander closely. The commander gives a signal to wait and climbs the highest point along the bank. There he decides to... got a pretty good athletic score. Well, and Lon's with us, so he'll take the lead here. My diplomacy is not bad. We only need to roll a 7 or higher to make that work. Whereas that's a 10 or higher, so that'd be harder. Let's go ahead and... I don't think we can trust the dice here. Let's go ahead and address the soldiers and boost their morale. Succeed! Huzzah! What did I actually roll? I rolled... okay, 27. Nice. Establish the rapport with the troops is yet another battle that the leader must face. Through the subtle alchemy of words, one can win trust and raise morale, or lose faith in authority. Addressing the army on the border of the whirlwind, the commander seeks to establish himself as the military leader of this new battleground. And his efforts prove fruitful. The soldiers listen dutifully, smiles appear on their faces. Someone in the ranks jokes as the demons are growing tired of waiting for them. The army keeps moving. Lines of soldiers step warily beneath the shroud of low black clouds. It's like the whirlwind has reached out a finger into the lands of Mendev. The gesture seems eerily harmless, but then the clouds come to life, shooting out howling tornadoes one after another. The tornadoes come from all sides, from ahead, behind, and right above the soldiers' heads. The power of the elements on the side of the scales, the soldiers' faith and inspiration on the other. It's plain to see which is greater. The determined army runs the gauntlet of tornadoes. The struggle lasts over half an hour, but the army's only lost are a few bags of supplies and a dozen hats whipped off into the sky. After stopping to catch their breath, the soldiers continue on. The first encounter of the whirlwind is ended in their favor. Okay, well, we got a boost of morale. That's cool. Weird tornado alley to go through, though. And then I can go down this way towards the Houndard campsite. There you go. The music stopping and not having any sound is super weird, so I'm gonna have to look at that. Yeah, because I should definitely get sound here. Okay, something is weird. Let me go ahead and look. Right now, thank you for watching. This has been Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I'm PC Universe, you're PC Universe 2, and I'll see you guys
rest
next time.
to fight another day.